Hello, welcome. Alright, first thing I want to mention is it came to my attention that we might be getting a live action Jetsons movie, and Jim Carrey might or might not be attached to play George Jetson in the possible upcoming Jetsons movie. Exactly. But this also kind of brings me into the next topic, which is kind of related, because WB owns or bought Hanna-Barbera, and WB might be selling, and I think if WB does sell, I think they are most likely going to sell to Disney. I think Disney would probably be a much better fit because because they do own Marvel Comics. And one thing diehard DC fans and diehard Marvel fans want in more than anything is DC and Marvel going at it. Marvel versus DC or DC versus Marvel. And that will print freaking money. That will print that will do 10 times as big, 10 times as much more money than any Avengers movie. That will be a if we think about it logically, right? The best way to get profit up would probably be to sell to Disney and build up both companies. Disney will probably build both will build DC up enough to where that can happen, right? And by the time we get a Marvel versus DC, think about it. Marvel versus DC, if Disney owned DC, right? And they put someone who knows what the fuck they're doing, right? In charge of DC Studios or the DC whatever side of things, right? They will. By the time we get a Marvel versus DC crossover movie or whatever, just imagine how much money Disney will have. Think about the power Disney will have if they owned DC and put out a DC versus Marvel or Marvel versus DC movie. You can build a Marvel, you can build on both sides to that massive freaking crossover. And I mean, you can build upon it. I'm talking TV shows, movies, go both in, they can, you can have DC, BT, you can have DC tease, DC crossover teases, going into the next Marvel movie. You can go have the Marvel characters teased in DC shows and movies and animation, and it will all make frickin' sense to where it all culminates in a massive, and I do mean massive, freaking crossover event where you have Marvel versus freaking DC. Thank you. Like, DC, if WB, right? If Warner Bros. Does sell to Disney, right? Hypothetically speaking, if Warner Brothers does sell to Disney, I think Disney will make DC profitable like they made Marvel profitable within 10 years. We're looking at a pretty good DC 10-year run where DC will be not as profitable as Disney, but pretty profitable nonetheless, which DC is pretty profitable right now. It's just not looking too good. Plus, think about it. You're gonna have Marvel fans and DC fans being able to watch everything unfold. And I think, honestly, I think Disney will probably be a better fit for WB because of the rivalry that they own with Marvel. Like, don't get me wrong, I like DC, okay? I love DC. One of my favorite DC characters is He-Man. I love He-Man. I love Popeye. I think, yeah, they own Popeye. WB owns Popeye. However, merchandise will do wonders for merchandise will bring even more in Disney or for Disney, because you got a shit ton of people. You got a shit ton of DC diehards out there, just like you have a shit ton of Marvel diehards out there. I don't know what that means. Bro loves the word hello, welcome, sorry. But one thing I do like, well, honestly, I don't know if Warner Brothers is going to sell to Disney, but I think they might. I think they are gonna have a better chance of selling to Disney than the others, because one thing Disney has is Marvel. And with Marvel, they have had a much better success within the last almost 20 years, because Marvel Studios is going to be hitting their 20-year mark very, very soon. So, and they are dipping their toes into the multiverse, which makes better sense. Happy birthday to your friend, and that's awesome. Sorry, I'm just wrapped up into this whole thought process right now. And one thing I've stressed enough and can't stress enough is I've always wanted Marvel to make the multiverse saga longer, because like there was a lot, there's so much to do within the multiverse. There's so many different things they could have done and should have done to make it where it felt bigger, much bigger. And one thing I one thing I one of my biggest problems with the multiverse saga is they didn't go back and revisit certain, they didn't go back and make it feel important. They didn't, the the multiverse saga never felt important. Like, yeah, it is important, but they never they never they never went back with certain things. Like, they never went back and showed us what the the made for TV Spider-Man movie character has been up to. They never showed us what the 90s Captain America was up to. The 1940s serial Captain America. They never went and showed us what the 1970s to 1980s made for TV movie Captain America was up to. They never bothered on giving us a sequel to the god awful 1980s Howard the Duck, which honestly, to me, I think was probably for the best, but it would probably have been nice to see what that world would have been like in modern times. You know, kind of revisit that world. You know, um, give us a revisit the '05 to '07 Fantastic Four, or Iron Man from a different universe. You know, things like that I think would have been much better. But what do you guys think? Do you guys agree or disagree with me on that? On this? Also another thing. I felt like they yeah, they could have still done they could have still done the Kang the Conqueror, the Kang Dynasty stuff, but they should have waited, you know, because like I feel like the Multiverse Saga should have been longer than 3 phases. Like phase the Multiverse Saga should be ending with Phase 9. Honestly, I honestly believe that the Multiverse Saga should be ending at Phase 9. Also, if you're new, please like, share, subscribe if you haven't already, and if you have, please share. And if you haven't already, mostly just please share and subscribe. But yeah, it's just been nuts, man. It's been nuts. Yeah. What you up to? I'm doing a live. Let me know when you're done. Alright. What the heck? How the heck? Anyways. Yeah, I just feel like WB has a much better, if they did things right and smartly, Disney's probably the best way to go because of their involvement in Marvel, and Marvel does, and one thing Marvel does own is Star Wars comics, and they do have the cosmic side of things, and Disney can differentiate or whatever. They can split the DC cosmic side and the Earthbound side. They can separate what DC cosmic side. They can work on two things that can make DC better. One can focus one side can push out the cosmic side and make the cosmic side of DC better and great, while another side focuses on making the Earth-bound side, or the Earth-based heroes and stuff, more down to earth and, you know, more more profitable in, and then they can like join forces together and make both really mean something, you know, and be more important than, oh, we got another Superman movie, oh, here's another Batman movie, whoop-de-doo. How many times are we gonna get Batman and Superman and a lackluster DC character that fumbles? Like, I do have to admit, the Arrowverse was probably one of the most fantastic things I've seen from that came out of WB in years. But as the Arrowverse went on, it just went downhill fast, and I do mean fast, because they were just focused on, oh, let's focus on putting the message and the agenda out there, and let's just fuck with these characters and not give a flying fuck about the fan base. Which, that's kind of how I feel about why I just stopped watching the Arrowverse completely. But I think if Disney did own, if WB did sell and to anyone, I think they're probably going to be selling to Disney because they want DC to do good and be better. And I don't know if this is, I don't know, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that Disney does still have TV rights to Batman, because they owned the TV right, because when they bought Fox, I think the rights to Batman characters TV side were already a part of that, because the Batman characters TV side were already owned by Fox at the time. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know the specifics of how that stuff works, but I'm pretty sure that it would probably make more sense to have to sell to Disney, because it would kind of be a full circle moment because of the Fox steal from like back in the 60s or something, the TV rights, so, you know, kind of being integrated into Disney and Fox and whatnot. I'm not 100% sure if the deal or what the logistics and the legality of that stuff would be. But if they want the TV rights back to Batman, I think Disney's a probably much better fit than anything. Plus, you can have DC characters be a part of the Disney theme parks. Think about how big those theme parks would get and be if Disney bought the Disney theme parks would be if Disney did buy WB. I'm just saying. Even bigger than what they are now. And people do love theme parks. And people do love...
Kevin, you gotta finish your line, dude.
Okay, hold on. What was I saying? People do love seeing characters at theme parks. And honestly, Disney would probably make much more money than anything with DC and Marvel together. But anyways, that's all I have for you guys so far for right now. I'm being forced to please like, share, subscribe, and have a good day. Catch you guys on the flip side. Bye.